Ping beryllium copper I2 irons. Controversial back in the day, quite collectible to this day. Guys, how are you doing? Welcome back to a brand new video. It's Simon down here at the lovely Sandford Springs Golf Club. Ping I2 beryllium, important word, we'll talk about that in a minute. Copper, 3 to pitch and wedge irons. I've been trying to get my hands on these for a very long time, and I have to thank Martin, who watches the channel, wanted to do a part exchange on the Ping G series irons, which you would have seen me do a video probably about 2 weeks ago now, saying, Simon, do you want to do a bit of an exchange? I've got a set of these, would you be interested? And I said yes, because I'd love to make this video. Never hit copper irons before. Well, I have now, because I've just played 4 or 5 holes, so I can actually tell you my thoughts on them. And I'm very excited to talk to you about the controversy, as well as the collector's item that these are fast becoming. Overall, I'm just glad that I finally got to give them a hit. If you wouldn't mind leaving this video a like, subscribing if you are new, let's do it. So let's talk valuation, because there's some absurd sets online at the moment in terms of price. And I know a few people do get excited when they're like, oh my God, I actually have a set of these in the garage. Don't get me wrong, they're like more valuable, especially the copper ones, than just your standard Ping I2s. But you're still talking like 200 to 300 pounds, depending on condition, grip, shaft, everything else. So the set, so I've seen a set on like Second Swing, which is basically the American version of Golf Bidder, 1 iron to sand wedge, in good condition, but they're trying to sell it for $3,000, which I do think is a bit out there. Now, obviously, I haven't done a phenomenal amount of research when it comes to the collectors of these items and like mint condition ones, but in terms of, I don't know, investing £3,000 in second-hand clubs, I wouldn't be kind of going down that route. Again, there's guys on eBay trying to flog these for like 500, 600, £700. Don't bother. 200 to 300 pounds, I think, is a very good valuation if you want to just go and try them. Now, I had 2 guys in the car park stop me individually to say how good my set of clubs looked, and they really wished they'd never got rid of theirs because it's one of their favourite clubs to ever hit. And in terms of performance and the 4 or 5 holes I just played, I can see what they're on about. So why are these irons so collectible? Because I didn't actually know the history behind them. I wanted to get my hands on them because I saw them going up in value, and I love the look of them, and their copper, which gets rarely used now because it's not really a cost-effective material. Forged steel is pretty much as good in terms of softness and feel, the R&D that's gone into them over the last 30 years, to be pretty much as good as copper. Even though copper is a very soft material, negligible difference. But these look amazing, and beryllium is the other chemical that I didn't actually know about. Beryllium's actually toxic, and when they were using them in the Ping factories, they didn't realise they was toxic. Therefore, beryllium only got used for a short amount of time. But what beryllium did do is make anything it comes in contact with, especially copper, a very hard and durable material. Hence why any set of Ping I2 beryllium copper irons that you will see, they will look brand new. Pretty much just like the ones I have in my bag. Like, they're indestructible. I played 5, 6 holes now, and there's not a mark on them. You just wipe them, carry on. These things are as close to a tank as you will get in the game of golf. So the idea behind these irons is you have a very durable compound between the 2 of them, but then the soft buttery feel that you want from copper. And I've tested these now through 4, 5, 6 holes, and these things are more forgiving than you could potentially imagine. These things are so ahead of their time. If I was to play something 30 years ago, well, it would be these. And there's no surprise I had 2 guys in the car park come up to me and go, they're the best irons I've ever had. They sit great on the ground. They look like blades from a top. However, they give you the forgiveness and feel that you want from a beginner irons. These came out as beginner irons. 3 to pitching wedge or sand wedge, whatever set that you were going to get at the time, and they gave you everything that you would want from that set. Now, if beryllium wasn't toxic, I imagine it still would be used in today's game, because as I said, the biggest bonus of these irons, and potentially another reason why they're still going up in value, is because the condition of them just look great. They don't come with ferrules, so you haven't got to worry about a plastic ferrule. The head itself is pretty much indestructible, and you can pretty much just reshaft it with anything you want, whether you want to put in graphite, steel, whatever it might be. So if you want a bit of a throwback, if you want to go back in time and get a bit nostalgic on your iron set, these are potentially something to look at. Another reason that these are quite controversial and also quite collectible is because Ping actually filed a lawsuit against the USGA because they ruled their wedges illegal. I don't think these ones have got the square grooves, but the square grooves that Ping came up with in their sand wedges especially gave the Tour Pro, not me and you because we duffed too many chips, but the Tour Pro at the time a massive advantage. We're talking a crazy amount of spin out of the rough, which goes to show how many confinements wedges, even with all their milled technology, sharp grooves, everything else, still won't compare anywhere near to how sharp and how spinny the old wedges would have been. And when I was sifting through the forums and the reviews of these irons, more recent ones, because obviously Golf WRX wasn't back out in the 90s, it was renowned that Tour Pros specifically were going back trying to find Ping i2 sand wedges, obviously the ones with the square grooves, just because of the performance and feel just gave you so much of an advantage. You're talking some of these wedges going for $200–300 for one club. That's how good they were. And I mean, just look at how good they are in terms of condition all this time to now. 30 years that these have been on the planet, and they still only look like they've come out of the shop. Now, they are quite dull in colour, and I'll show you some other ones that I've seen on eBay that are a bit more shiny, a bit more refurbed, and I kind of want to do the same with that. And anytime I put a Coca-Cola image in my thumbnail, it gets 50,000 views and I can pay for my daughter's nursery that week. So I definitely want to give these a bit of a clean, a bit of a scrub up, and see how shiny and how good that we can get these back to their former glory. Because performance wise, as I played, the 3-iron, 4-iron, okay, not the most forgiving 3-iron and 4-iron that I've ever hit, but you've got to remember, these weren't designed to be driving irons 30 years ago. You were supposed to have a 3-iron in the bag and then a couple of woods and then the driver. You're not looking at your 3-iron driving iron that you only use off the tee. These things are designed to be shot into par 3s. They're designed to try to get into stop on a green from a long par 4. The wedges, the mid irons are fantastic, and I highly recommend, by the way, for a lot of you guys that are looking for something a bit different, to actually try and source a set of these out, because they are that good and they are going to last you forever. And wait for it, investment wise, as long as you don't spend more than £300 on these, well, you're going to be able to sell them back for exactly the same in 5, 6, 7 years, whenever you want, because they're not going anywhere. As I said, these things are tanks and they're only going to get more and more scarce. And now it makes sense to me why Ping brought out the i2 Glide wedge, because of the controversy that probably surrounded it way back when, but also I do feel the head design, for whatever reason, that high toe to obviously help the MOI and the forgiveness, but at the same time the sleek design where it just sits on the ground snugly does fill you with a lot of confidence. I have to say, the wedge, the 9-iron, the 8-iron are some of the best irons that I've hit in a long time. Now, unfortunately, as we go up in the bag, you don't get anywhere near the same kind of level of control, forgiveness as your modern day set. But the modern day sets that I see nowadays don't necessarily look as cool as what I've got in the bag right now. For whatever reason, this wedge just feels class, and actually I'm starting to think if I was ever to get fitted for new wedges, I'd probably go down the Ping Glide route. Not because of the spin or anything like that, it's just the way it sits on the ground. It just gives me the confidence boost, and let's be honest, when it comes to wedge play, all you want is confidence. Now, there are some sets that are conforming and there are some sets that aren't conforming. The good thing about Ping is that any serial number that's on the Ping club, they'll be able to track exactly what loft it is, what lie it is, what length originally went into that head. So realistically, you potentially could ring Ping up if you have a set of these and find out whether you can play with them in competition. If they're not conforming, it's good news because I think you're going to get a bit more money. And also, side note, I've tried to do as much research as I can, but please don't take this video as gospel. If any of you that have actually got some hard facts, evidence, or you actually know, please do write it down below and I'll actually pin it to the top of the comments so anyone that's watching this video can go, actually, Simon's talking a load of rubbish. This is what I should be reading. All I really care about is what they look like and how good they are to hit. So guys, there you have it, Ping i2 beryllium copper irons. That's what all the fuss is about, and there's my thoughts on them as well. I'm going to try and get these a bit cleaner, a bit more sparkly before I then move them on. Martin, thank you ever so much for giving me the option to obviously purchase these off yourself and then obviously make this video. Guys, thank you ever so much for watching. Any questions, put them down below. Leave this video a like. See you later.